Welcome, everybody. For the department heads, could I have a little quiet over there, please? Welcome, everybody, on this kind of a blustery day. My name's Ron Faulkner, and I'm sitting in for the mayor, who is, I believe, in the sunny south, trying to chase a little white ball around. So, on a well-deserved holiday. So, at this point, I would call this meeting to order, and
Yep.
so is there any disclosure of pecuniary interests under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Hearing none, we'll now go to the minutes of the previous meeting, which is February 17th. Okay, moved by Mary Lou Caldwell, seconded by Councillor Jean Anderson, that the minutes of the February 17th, 2015 council meeting be approved. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Declare the motion carried. Takes me a little longer to sign than George. Okay. Additional items, if any? Councillor Turton has one. And of course, we keep that open in case there's others crop up during the meeting. Resolution moving council into committee of the whole to consider public meetings. Is that on here? Okay, moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Turton, that the town of Minto convenes into committee of the whole. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Declare that motion carried. Okay. So now we have no public meeting, so we'll move on to delegations, and our first delegation is Tanya Robertson and Janet Klemp in respect to the 5th Annual Mayor's Charity Golf Tournament.
Sure their mics are.
Yeah, please check that your mics are on.
That's good, I think. All right, so we're here to talk to you about the 5th Annual Mayor's Charity Golf Tournament that will take place on August 13th at Pike Lake Golf Center. The application process is now open, and it will close on Monday, March 23rd. And the core committee is looking for applications from nonprofit organizations within the town of Minto that fit into one of 3 categories: community betterment, sports organizations, and service clubs.
Over the past 4 years, the Mayor's Charity Golf Tournament has raised over $32,000 going towards the local community groups. The money has gone towards planter baskets, beautifying our towns, and the purchase of new baseball equipment, and the assistance of the organizations with their financial expenses of running these important programs in our community.
So if anybody is looking for any more information about the tournament or to obtain an application form, they can contact us at the office, either Janet or I, by phone or on the website. The application will be up there and ready this afternoon.
Fantastic. We certainly, on behalf of council, appreciate your efforts in respect to this event. I know how much work goes in it. I've fortunately been able to play the game as opposed to working, and see how hard you ladies work, and it's certainly appreciated. And for the public out there, get your applications in, because it's a great event, and I believe in past give us a ballpark on what we've raised in the past per year.
Last year was our biggest year. We raised $9,000 last year to be divided between 2 groups. It's actually like, it looks about 8,000 to 9,000 the last couple of years.
Yeah, so that's excellent. So sports groups and non-charity or charity groups out there, put your thoughts together and get your application into Tanya and Janet. Thank you, ladies. Oops, sorry, Councillor Elliott.
Can past groups that have been involved apply to be involved again?
5 years.
5 years?
I think we can open it up, and but new organizations that are applying will be
Priority, for sure.
priority first.
But
Yep.
they could apply, and then if there's not enough new ones, then
Yeah, it'll go through the
they'll be
committee.
considered.
And it'll go through the committee, exactly.
Yep, okay, thanks.
Excellent, great job.
Thank you.
And our second delegation is Kate Hall, Green Communities Canada, to present bronze designation for the town of Minto on being a walk-friendly community. So I'll ask Kate and Matt to come up and begin the delegation.
Well, thank you, Deputy Mayor Ron Faulkner, for the introduction. So, as mentioned, Kate Hall's here today to officially present us with our bronze designation. You may recall, I believe it was November of last year that we received word through Karen Armstrong that we had received that designation, and she was present at that time to make that unofficial announcement. But I guess we're here today to make things official. So, without further ado.
Thank you very much, Matt, and Deputy Mayor Faulkner and members of council for having me here today. I'd just like to say a few words about the importance of creating walk-friendly communities. Walking is the most natural form of transportation. We are built to walk, and walkers are an indicator species. We like to think of them as an indicator species of a vibrant community. And so when you see people out on your streets, then you know that you have something good going on in your community because people are out there. At Green Communities Canada, we like to think about driving, cycling, and public transit as the middle leg of your walking journey every day, because at some point in your day, you're going to walk. And first and foremost, we are all walkers. Walking is the most fundamental mode in any integrated mobility solution as it relates to creating healthy, safe, and equitable communities. So physical activity levels we know are declining across all age groups, resulting in an increased risk for a number of chronic diseases. However, research shows that people living in walk-friendly neighborhoods, walk-friendly communities, walk more, have lower body weights, and lower risk to chronic diseases, such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, etc. So this suggests that walk-friendly neighborhoods, the way that we create and build and design our streets and our communities, can have an effect on our health. And more evidence shows this. Walk-friendly communities are also safer for every mode of travel on our streets. So the pedestrian death review that was issued by the Ontario Chief Coroner's Office in 2012 found that 24% of fatalities occurred in rural areas. And the ratio of fatalities to injuries in rural areas is much higher than urban areas because of higher speeds on our roadways and less infrastructure for pedestrians on those roadways as well that would separate pedestrians from traffic. Rural highways accounted for the highest number of pedestrian fatalities after urban arterials. However, we know that walk-friendly communities are associated with fewer traffic accidents. So again, making those streets and those roads safer for all road users. There's also a strong equity and accessibility argument to be made for walking and planning and designing for walking, that everyone, regardless of age, income, or ability, has the right to safe mobility options that enable them to access their everyday needs. Almost 30% of Ontarians don't have a driver's license. So when we design and plan for vehicle traffic in our communities as the primary mode of transportation, then we're discounting a number of people in our communities. And so need to really think about all modes of use in the right of way. And walk-friendly communities are more accessible. According to Statistics Canada in 2006, about 13.5% of Ontarians have disabilities. And it's estimated that by 2036, 1 in 5 individuals will have some form of disability. It may not be a mobility challenge, it might be a visual challenge, but it will be some form of disability that will change the way that they move around in their communities. So the town of Minto has been an early supporter of walkability, starting around 2005, 2006, but also your involvement with the International Walk 21 conference, the conference's Walkability Roadshow in 2007, and then presenting at that conference. And I'm from a small community in Haliburton, County, and we also were part of that road show. We were another rural community that was showcased, and so I remember meeting the councillor who was quite involved with the work at that time at the conference, who was presenting at that time.
That would have been Rick Hembley, I'm
That's
sure.
right. That's right. And so you've had a commitment from council, a community walkability committee, and a strong partnership with the Wellington Dufferin Guelph Public Health, and those have been really key elements to the success of walking and creating a walk-friendly community in Minto. There's also been demonstrated investment in the walking environment through community improvement planning and streetscape improvements in the villages, and development of local trails, as well as trail linkages between the three towns. And I understand that this will be a focus of your work over the next couple of years, working to the sesquicentennial 2017. So I wish you all the best with those connections and linkages. And the town of Minto walks the talk. So winning all challenges during the Commuter Challenge and In Motion Week, demonstrating that you are the most physically active council in Wellington County, Dufferin County, and the city of Guelph. So congratulations to all of you for being active and showing leadership around that. And it's my pleasure then to be here today to present a Bronze Walk Friendly Community designation to council and staff of the town of Minto. And we look forward to working with you in the future and applaud the work and progress that you've done to date to support walking in your community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate. And if I could mention a couple things that you mentioned, that we are putting a lot of effort into the trail, connecting the three communities in the next couple of years with the assistance of the County of Wellington. And the other comment I would like to make is that in speaking with a physician, that the speed of recovery from hip surgery and knee surgery is directly linked to the amount of walking that individual has done. So if there's ever a lesson for us older people to get out there and walk, it's quick recovery after surgeries. So it's a pleasure to have you here. And Matt, Ron, Councillor Elliott, who's head of PRAC, and myself will come down and thank you.
I'm going to get out of the way.
Be able to celebrate the fact that you are a walk friendly, because I realized when I was that young age, I realized this morning anyway that I was at another meeting and I had taught that, so I wasn't really.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
In time for you to get another spring. Great. Excellent. Thank you.
I put it on the battery. I worked so hard for that.
And also, if I might acknowledge the work of former Councillor Rick Hembley for his work in the past, because this is a culmination of I know his effort. He's was a big part of that in the past, and I want to acknowledge Rick for that. He's also enjoying the sun in Miami right now. So.
And Jean's the chair.
And Jean is the chair, right?
Of the new trail committee.
Of the new trail committee.
Apparently.
Right. Good. And Belinda, also for your work in respect to that. And Matt has left. We know we have a tremendous staff in respect to the efforts to do these things, and that's all part of economic development and great things for the town of Minto. So thank you all. Okay. Where are we here? Public question period. Mr. Cork, you must have a question.
Later.
Oh, right on the home front. All right, then we'll go on to correspondence received for information or requiring direction of council. Could I have a motion then to receive correspondence? Councillor Colwell, Councillor Turton, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Declare the motion carried. Now we have, and the reports? Yep. Right? Reports of committees and town staff, matters tabled, and motions for which notice has been previously given.
So, Mr. Deputy Mayor, we have a set of Maitland Valley Conservation Authority Board of Directors minutes from December 17th, 2014. And just a motion to receive that unless there's questions.
I don't know whether that would fit Mr. Duff in respect to the foundation or the joint Wellington Healthcare project. Should I report on that at all? At the end? I'll wait till the end on that because I'm waiting for an email from Mr. David Craig on that. Okay. A motion? Jean? Councillor Anderson, Councillor Elliott, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Declare that motion carried. Okay, and now we have Belinda Wick Graham.
Deputy Mayor Faulkner and members of council, I'm just going to give you a brief recap of our cultural roundtable meeting. A few of you were at Good Roads and missed our very good meeting. I'm just going to highlight some things. Coming up on March 30th at 7 o'clock, we are having a community groups meeting. So we often hear that people don't know what's going on in terms of other people's events, and it results in double booking of events on same days. So we thought, let's bring our groups together and put out some calendars and have them map their events for the year on this calendar. And if we run into situations where there are multiple events on the same weekend or same day, that these people can then look at ways of how they can cross-promote or collaborate to make both of their events a success. So that's the, excuse me, the purpose of the meeting.
This is brand new if you want to do a sip of that. I do that when I look at Deputy Mayor Ron Faulkner too.
Sorry about that. We also have the Treasures of Minto website and our event calendar on the town website that people aren't aware of, and so we want to showcase that and show them how they can make better use of those two resources. And in Centre Wellington, they're looking at possibly establishing a event resource center so that all events can partake in using their materials. So Elizabeth Bender from Centre Wellington is going to be coming up and speaking to that and seeing if there's any interest in Minto groups utilizing things like this. It would be things like fencing, tents, chairs, anything that groups have that they have to rent. Some groups own them, like bleachers, and then they just go into storage all year. Other groups then go out and rent them from big businesses when they could be utilizing them for cheaper from a resource center. So we did this, we had the Redneck Games with the Port Elgin Resource Center. So for our local groups, it would be nice to have that locally. So basically that's what that's all about. We have set our dates for the concerts in the park this summer, so you'll want to note those in your calendar, and hopefully we'll see some of your faces out there. Once again, it's a Pass the Hat style concert, and this year is featuring our songwriters who participated in the Songwriters Challenge. So in the minutes, that's all highlighted in there as well. And I'm going to introduce our newest hire for Launch at Minto and the Minto Chamber of Commerce. So Summer Brown is here. And, so Summer is started yesterday, and she is probably on information overload right now. As you'll know, we're very busy at Launch and with the Chamber on many projects. So Chris has been busy the last 2 days getting Summer up to speed. So we're excited to have her as part of our economic development group. And then another exciting initiative that John Mock and I have been talking about for the last couple of years was bringing our furniture makers in Minto together, because we have a lot of people making cool things here in Minto and it's being sold in Toronto. So we thought, let's bring these people together and see what happens. So we pulled about 5 of them together, resulted in an excellent meeting and discussion around forming some sort of a co-op or retail space, a destination retail in one of our communities that's located along Highway 109. And actually it ventured into even more than that, and now looking at a design and decor type store. So we're actually meeting next week with our small business advisor to look at moving that forward and look at possible funding opportunities that might be out there to move something like that forward. So it's kind of an exciting initiative that we're working on at launch, and it ties to our creative economies and the cultural roundtable. So, any questions on those minutes?
Just a comment. First of all, welcome, Summer. We're excited to have you on board, and I know I have the most confidence that you're going to enjoy working with the staff here. We pride ourselves in having the best staff in the county. So, thank you. And Belinda, the dates for the concert in the park?
Yeah. So July 5th in Palmerston at the Railway Museum, we'll be headlining Juanita Wilkins. July 5th,
yep.
Sunday. And the concerts are all at 2 o'clock. And the opening act is Doris Laird and Nicholas Mercury. And then Sunday, July 19th in Hairston at the train station, headlining will be Trina Larder and her band. And the opening act is Kyra Ash and Peter Schofield. And then Sunday, August 16th, it'll be in Clifford at the Rotary Park. Headlining is Samantha Glacier, and the opening act is Alexandria McCrae.
Perfect. And if you think that doesn't get out there, just look at the young fellow from Listowel that won the song for Cherry, the Cherry movie, right? Don Cherry. And boy, he's been getting great press lately. Yeah, young Kiso.
Yeah, and I guess right now we are accepting entries for our CD cover contest for the CD that these people are recording right now. And the CD launch party is going to be May 28th at Harry Stone's. So mark that in the calendar.
May 28th?
Yes.
Thank you. Boy, that's exciting news. Sure appreciate that. Now, okay, could we have a motion to approve the minutes of Culture Roundtable? Councillor Anderson, Councillor Elliott, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Declare the motion carried. Okay, staff reports.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, if Khalees could come forward, maybe I'll start the briefing, but she has all the details on this. And you may recall back at the orientation meeting and at the January 13th budget, we talked about a little thing called information management and moving to a paperless agenda. And so Khalees and Annaline and Peg have done some background research into some options to look at, and they're bringing them forward here today so that we can, in advance of next week's second budget meeting, give you some information and get direction to move forward. You may recall in the first budget meeting we did put enough money in the operating budget for some form of software, so from there maybe Khalees could give you a little bit more information.
Okay, so do you want me to go through both? Or just, yeah, okay. So since January I've been kind of researching what we call like a paperless agenda software. So what that will do is eliminate paper, hopefully, and create like an easier agenda process for our clerks. We looked at what we call iCompass, and their product is called Civic Webs, and basically it's a tablet-based software that you get your agenda through your tablet, through the website. You can write on the tablet just like you can a piece of paper. So Civic Webs has this module, but then the other company that we looked at was eScribe, and we feel that, or I feel that eScribe is the better option because it just has a better, one, their presentation was better, it was easier to understand. North Perth also has this software, and they're kind of similar to us, and the County of Wellington also uses eScribe. I also feel like it has an easier, like user-friendly experience, but they both do the same thing. They're both relatively priced the same. I just found that eScribe is more user-friendly than Civic Webs. So I don't know if you guys have any questions about the software.
I do so far.
Okay.
Khalees, in respect to if there was a part of the information on the iPad or tablet that we wanted to print off, is that option there to be able to hook up to a printer?
Well, yes, you can print it off, but what would you want to print it for? Like,
I don't know. I'm thinking of details of a particular presentation that you need to take that information forward, and I know we've gone through, I went through this with the Ontario Provincial Police, and there is the odd time we needed to print things off.
yes, you can definitely print from it. No problem.
Okay, because my iPad right now, I cannot. So I just wondered if that, I know things have changed and got better and all that.
The iPad that I'm recommending is like a 16 gig iPad Air, so it's like newest iPad. Actually, I think it's the first version of the Air, but it yeah, has that capability.
Okay, thank you, perfect.
Yep.
Can you just explain when you were saying along with the implementation, this is what's necessary? The projection system using 2 TVs?
Oh, yep. So we're looking at upgrading our projection system from this screen here to like what we have at the fire hall in Harrison with the big, like the system and the 2 TVs. We'd probably have, well, it's kind of up in the air as to how many TVs they're going to probably come in and recommend, but probably 1 TV there for council to see, and then 1 TV above here for department heads and the camera to see. Because right now, videotaping council meetings, if there is a presentation, people that are watching on the camera can't actually see the presentation. So that's what we're looking at upgrading to. And the reason is because it does fit with the technology. The module in eScribe does allow for internet live streaming and publishing like to the smart TV.
Anybody else? Councillor Elliott first.
So the TV angles will be different too?
Weight friendly.
Put a camera up here and then TV would be this way and almost that way?
If I may, I think we'll probably need an expert to help us with that, but we contemplated one sort of from the front shining up, so it got
Yeah.
the overhead one.
You'd have to have another angle for that, is that something?
Like camera-wise?
Not that I want to be
Yeah.
center the angle.
Yeah, we'll need another couple cameras.
Sorry, Councillor Turton.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Faulkner. Khalees, I happen to be in the North Perth Council Chambers on Wednesday night.
Yep.
And I think that they have likely 4 monitors.
Okay.
And they're very, very strategically placed, like, and everybody in there that can see them.
Yeah.
And then there's another one set so council can see as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned North Perth. Is there many municipalities that have moved to this?
I would say between 70 and 80% have either of the 2 softwares. I don't know in Wellington County right now because it's kind of just starting. Like I know Wellington North is currently researching these 2 different types of software as well. But Civic Webs and eScribe do have a lot of the market right now when it comes to agenda software.
I mean, even it was a Maitland Valley meeting, and there was a couple of guys presenting, a couple of people presenting, and they were standing at the podium, and they were able to manipulate the monitors to, show what the PowerPoint was or whatever it was called. And it was good. I rather enjoyed it. It was good.
If I may just to add to Khalees's presentation, it's the beginning of total information management that we're moving into. So in addition to preparing the agendas and the reports, and posting them so that the media and everyone else can access them off our website. It'll do reporting as well, and then all the records that are created out of those processes are stored in the proper locations under the TomRIM system. And from that also will be, Khalees and I have been meeting with all the staff and looking at other workflow things that can be done electronically to eliminate paperwork. And then we'll feed that record-keeping exercise into the TomRIM system as well. So this will help us protect us long-term liabilities in order to properly manage our information. That's a very, very important requirement of the provincial government and of our insurer in order to make sure we get all the information to the right people when it's requested. So very, very important when we move through this.
Councillor Elliott?
One more question. Memory in these things, so if we have a meeting a year ago, will it be still stored in my?
All of the agenda and minutes are archived into our TomRIMS database, so it won't be on your tablet, but you'll be able to access it through an internet browser.
Oh, so I'll be able to get back in and pull the information.
Yeah.
That's great.
That would include all the reports, which the media would be able to get to as well beforehand on a Friday night, so
Good.
much more accessible.
Okay, anything else? Oh, sorry, Councillor Caldwell?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, just if you could go over the costs a little bit. The ongoing cost of the software is $5,140 licensing fee.
Hold on, let me.
It's on page 3.
Okay, no, so under financial considerations, the annual licensing of 5,000 was what was going to be for, so we looked at 3 companies. We looked at Image Advantage, we looked at TomRIMS, we looked at FileHold. Image Advantage we quickly ruled out because it was going to be $41,000 and an annual licensing fee of $5,000, so that's why we ruled it out, because it's too expensive. If you look at the 2 options that I am proposing, eScribe and iCompass, I have in a table format the fees for 2015, 16, and 17, as well as council upgrades are for the council chambers. TomRIMS is a one-time fee of $3,500 and an annual update fee of $300. Tablets will be around $3,500 depending on whether or not you get them on sale or discount or whatever. And then department heads will also be around $4,500 depending on what type of tablet they need that fits their requirement. So
that where you have it 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
The 14,000 is software costs only?
Yeah, it's eScribe fees. There's a $10,319 annual fee plus the whatever 4,000 is the implementation fee for 2015.
So it's 10,000 a year every year as long as we use it.
Correct.
The 10,000 question is the 10,000 is per year?
Yeah.
While we're using it, and the comment was, I thought that was a little in excess.
Well, but those are the same for the 2. They're essentially annual fees, and we've already put in our operating budget these amounts, and that includes all updates. It's not like you have a big $50,000 outlay and then a small license fee, and it has to do with storage too of the material as well.
Right. So basically you're paying, it's a fee for
Right.
service, basically. It's not like a sunk cost, it's a service fee. So that you're paying the company to store or archive your documents in like a cloud-based technology online. So they're providing you a service, basically, like a secure storage server so that you can store your documents on. So
Does that include all training and things like that, or is that over and above that?
that includes everything.
Training, support, et
Yeah.
cetera?
Yep.
So as councils change,
Yes.
there wouldn't be additional fees for new councils to learn?
No, just there'll be your iPad, standard iPad will last 3 to 4 years, so you'll have to replace them, but that will be the only fee. And I also, whoever is kind of in charge of maintaining the system will be able to train council on how to use it. So. But that does include support from the company, that fee.
And the council upgrades are,
Council upgrades are the monitor, the projection system, and the TV and cameras.
Councillor Turton?
So, Khalees, after 3 years, if we choose to do something else, if we choose to go with iScribe or something, all that information that they've stored for us, or we've stored wherever, it's
Comes back to us.
it does, eh?
Yep.
And I mean, is it going to be accessible? But
Yep.
if we do not have the particular equipment to make it accessible?
Every document is stored as a PDF document.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councillor Anderson first.
A couple of questions, and I'm noticing iPads at my products now.
Right.
I won't be doing the typing that I frequently try to do documents on iPad. I got rid of my Apple computer.
Microsoft Office does now have a suite out for iPads, so you can put that on there if you need to, but my first sort of feeling is that these iPads will strictly be for reading agendas, answering email, not processing Word documents.
Councillor Erickson had said, I was at my education, talking to the YouTube wrong because I could do no either, but I assume that.
Yeah, so this software does allow for comments on items and like sticky notes and everything on your PDF document, so you can make notes.
I know personally I've struggled with Microsoft on iPad products or Apple products.
It's getting better. It's getting better.
Councillor Elliott?
I've just a comment and say yes or no to this. But
Okay.
it does cost us $10,000.
Right.
I assume there's going to be staff time that we're going to save here, become more efficient.
Right.
Papers that we don't have to put out, costs on that. So I would think some of the efficiencies will come back. It will probably cost us more. Yeah, efficiencies in it.
Yeah, so eScribe kind of puts together, typical savings for boards and committees. So if you're looking at whatever, a couple agendas once a month, you're looking at between 4,000 and 8,000, I guess, in paper and consumable printing savings. It says annual efficiency benefits of 24,000. So your potential annual savings could be about between 12 and 64,000, depending on how many meetings you have, how many agendas you print, what you print.
Thanks.
Councillor Caldwell?
so, through you, Deputy Mayor, so people attending the council meeting and the press, they would go on the website to get the agenda?
Yeah, so what happens is anybody that needs an agenda or would like one can subscribe on our website. And then anytime an agenda is released, it's published on our website. It's sent out to your tablets, it's sent out to their email addresses. All the department heads that have tablets or email will be sent there. Any general public member that subscribes will get an agenda. So that'll eliminate people picking up agendas, us taking them, all that.
Okay. Councillor Anderson?
Sorry, it's just a big issue, so there's lots
Sure
of
is.
discussion. If we're looking down the road, so if you choose to go to another subscriber, I'm just wondering about security and so on, because it came back and everything's stored in iCloud, and I don't know how comfortable I am with the security of iCloud. There's lots of stories about how secure it is, but one would assume with the amount of work they do, they've done something in hospital documentation. So has that been looked at if you went to a different company and then we had to store back all of our information?
Well, right now, so this is the way our data works right now, right? We store all of our documents on our server here under each user. So we are looking at upgrading the server this year, I believe, but it's no different. Like our server would be able to accommodate any sort of documents that we take back if we don't use the service going forward, because really what's happening is clerk's department is basically going to this cloud, but we're also backing it up through our servers. So it's not like they're taking our documents and we'll never get them back, or what. It's staying within our system. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I
Sorry.
just wanted that backup server. I was going to ask about that too.
CEO White?
And just to add to that, if I may, through the deputy mayor, we have a backup to the backup at the fire hall. And also, most of the stuff that would go into the cloud would be public information anyway. So it's information, if it did get out there, is generally just reports and things that would be coming to council anyway, or other documents. But you raise a point. We talked about that, but we were comfortable with our backup system. And
It gets out there, right? I mean, we're a little tiny business and we boast about our transparency, so I'm assuming we don't have secret documents, but security does come out, personnel files, all kinds of things, and once it raises its ugly little head, it's a hard thing to quell if you haven't got enough reliable information to back up what you get.
Those meetings.
Absolutely. Okay, any other comments or questions? Thank you, Khalees. Job well done, and
I don't know if I explained everything in comprehensive detail, but I'm not sure really what other information to give, so.
no, I'm satisfied that you're very detailed and very precise. Okay, a recommendation that council receives the March 3rd, 2015 report from the Information Management Coordinator regarding Meeting Manager Software, Information Management Program, and approves eScribe as the meeting management software. Tomers as the record management base, and requests up to $30,000 be placed in the 2015 capital budget for implementation of the first stage of the information management program upgrades. Could I move it for that? Councillor Turton? Councillor Elliott? All in favor? Opposed, if any? I declare the motion carried. Okay, that goes with that. And now we have Belinda again.
there. The little chip in the side.
Will eScribe
That was
prevent this problem from occurring?
Yes.
These guys tell me how to get on Viber.
Oh, I can tell you.
Settings and ringtones.
I
Settings and ringtones.
did that.
Yeah, and then
You have to
Your
move
thing
the
is mine,
little
so I
thing
know it.
across.
It's working
pass
now.
your
the
phone
light
down,
came
I'll
on.
get it on vibrate.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to first start off by apologizing for not having this business retention expansion report to you sooner. Our action plans have actually been completed or reviewed in June by our Economic Development Committee, but you'll see in the report, if you took the time to read it, we have very detailed action plans included in our report, and that's why it took longer than some of the other municipalities. Okay, so here we go. So for those of you that don't know what business retention expansion is, it's an economic development strategy driven by the local community, and it's something our Economic Development Committee has been doing since 2007, and something that we feel very strongly about. And really, the project we did in 2007 has driven a lot of the work that we've done up until today. So the goals of BRNE are to bring our business community and our community together to create a positive business environment, identify areas that the businesses see as concerns, help create jobs and new business development, retain our existing businesses, and develop our economic development actions. So this is the project, how it came about. This started when I was on maternity leave in June of 2013, and right now we're in the implementation phase. This was done at a county level with all 7 lower tier municipalities partaking, and this is a list of all the people that were involved in terms of the Wellington BRNA team. Locally in Minto, we had our Economic Development Committee involved and engaged. Mandy was responsible and Bill assisted her, as did Tanya and Gordon, and myself when I came back have driven it forward in implementation. The 5 sectors that we're focused on were agriculture, manufacturing, healthcare, the creative economy, and specifically in Minto, downtowns. Retail is a priority sector for us and one of our major employers, to many people's surprise. So surveys, 270 surveys were done countywide. 45 of those surveys were completed in Minto, which was the most out of any of the other lower tier municipalities. We did 11 in agriculture, 10 in the creative economy, 9 manufacturing, 8 healthcare, 7 downtown. And I'm going to be doing some comparisons to the data from 2007, 2008. So you'll see in that year we did 66 cross-sector surveys. So that again was across a multitude of sectors, but we did 66 then. So this is some snapshot of who we talked to. So these were the size of the businesses or what year they were in their business. So less than 1 year in business, we talked to 1 person. 1 to 3 years in business, we talked to 3 people. So there's a lot of people we talked to that were in the middle with like 4 to 10, 11 to 25, or had been here a long time with over 35 years. And looking at sales, the sales figures there, they're not, I can't see the bottom numbers, but there's some significant players in terms of sales here that contribute greatly to our economy here in Minto. And those numbers you'll see in your actual report. In terms of number of employees, so you'll see in Minto, and we know this, we have a lot of small businesses, and we believe in supporting our small businesses, and that's how we're going to grow our community. TG Minto is awesome, but we're probably not going to get another TG Minto in terms of employee size. So we are focusing our efforts on small, medium-sized businesses that's servicing generally the local and regional markets. So here are the results. In terms of business climate in Minto, 87% of the businesses surveyed stated that Minto was a good or excellent place to do business. So back in 2007, 2008, when we did this, that number was 73%. So that's a significant improvement, and we had just really started our economic development initiatives in 2006. So we've come a long way, and we're seeing results in that. And you can see the attitudinal change in the past 3 years. It's a little hard for me to see at a distance. So 66 or 56% had no change, so they were just happy last time, they're happy today. 35% reported being more positive, and the other one, 9% should say more negative. So 9% people are more negative today. Reasons why they had positive change in their attitude. Some of the responses were everyone is supportive of small business. Economic Development Committee enhances our opinion. We have constant good relationships. More businesses are seeing good. People are more positive and relationships are strong. I feel very supported by the municipality. Reasons why people had negative change in their attitude was our downtown retail is shrinking and the business has grown and there's no place to expand. So we are hearing that from people. We know that's an issue, and our business or buildings in the downtown core that aren't usable, we know that. So that's something that's not a surprise. So GAM business climate factors in doing business. This time around, support from municipality was rated as 77% good to excellent, and back in 2007, that number was 64%, rating it as good to excellent. These factors all scored over 75%, so kudos to fire services, the municipal economic development, the support from the municipality, the Chamber of Commerce, our downtown revite committees, Whiteman and their internet service, our police services, regional, provincial roads and highways, and the garbage and recycling. These all had scores of over 75% of good or excellent response. So future plans and business development. 49% of the businesses we surveyed report that they're planning to expand in the next 18 months, and we're definitely seeing that, resulting in 65 new jobs and an increase in 68,000 square feet. And the businesses expect that that's because of industry growth, 60% said that, and stability was about 33%. 56% indicated they expected increase in sales in the next year, so that's a good number. In terms of workforce development, 43% reported stability in the workforce, 52% indicated growth in their workforce, and that number translated into 286 employees that they were looking to find, and 5% reported a decrease, so that was 11 employees. And in 2007, if you compare, 32% were looking to expand their workforce at 132 employees, 15% were decreasing, 16 employees, and 53% were remaining the same. So pretty close in terms of the numbers and comparables, but a general good trend that people are continuing to grow and hire employees. Some of the challenges, 44% reported difficulty hiring. No surprise, we know this. And again, in 2007, 2008, 62% actually reported that. So we're making some headway there. And they felt that this was due to both industry and community factors. So some of the industry, it's all across Ontario, Canada, the world, having skilled shortages. 61% of businesses report that the availability of qualified workers is fair to poor. That's a pretty high number. Most businesses are relying on traditional methods to hire, which may not be a match for new generation workers. So a lot of people weren't using things like LinkedIn and social media or trying some of the new things. They were sticking with like, oh, I know this person, or I post that on my store, trying to find people. So that's something that we're trying to work with the businesses on with the job portal. And then some of the barriers that they identified for training their employees was cost and that it wasn't available locally. So this is where Launch It and the services that Launch It provides comes in to address these issues. In terms of community development, so some of the comments that our businesses made about what are our advantages as a business location. Location, so proximity to large centers and cottage country. Community, we have a positive business environment, supportive business community, involvement and support from the municipality, excellent quality of place, it's safe, friendly, there's a wealth of recreation, cultural amenities, and it's a good place to access healthcare. Land, we have available and affordable land for housing and industry and lower operating costs. And obviously our fiber optic internet service in the urban centers is another positive advantage for us. In terms of disadvantages, as much as location was seen as a positive thing, it's also seen as a negative thing, that it is farther to the urban center. We have a small population size, and this is hindering our retail growth. And as well, another thing that's come up along retail is the ability of people shopping online is also hurting our retail businesses. Workforce, small labor pool to draw from. There's a lack of skilled labor and the distance from the workforce. So again, that comes into how far we are from the urban centers. And in terms of infrastructure, we don't have rail and public transit, and that's something that I don't see changing anytime soon. Internet service in the rural areas, parking in the downtown cores, I think we're making some headway there. This is a big one, our absentee property owners and the poor aesthetic structures of the building stock in the downtown core continues to be a major issue. So where can we assist? So some of the things that they thought of on here, we're helping with e-marketing, social media and online content, workforce planning, training and attraction, joint advertising, marketing, business networking. So a lot of these things we're working on, they'll come up in our action plans later on. So where did they say that we should focus our efforts? 69% want us to focus on promoting Minto, and 28% want us to focus on public transportation. Other suggested priorities included attracting more businesses and services, the downtown due to the impression of first impressions, revitalizing the downtown and business retention, Main Street vacant building problems. So bang, 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 3 downtown issues on this priority list. Recruitment and healthcare, particularly physicians, and then tourist information. So action plans. Our Economic Development Committee took all this information, and it's much more than what you're seeing there, but it's nice to have a snapshot, and identified 7 priorities for us, and that's marketing and promotion, downtown revite, support and promotion of Launch It and business support services that are available in the area, workforce development, development of local food sector, youth engagement and attraction, and should say retention too, and communication. So in terms of our action plans, you'll see in your written report that it's quite extensive and very detailed. In terms of marketing, this year and last year we've been working on alumni attraction programs. The ones in blue are the ones that are on our radar. The ones in green are ones that we're actively doing right now. So I'm just going to touch on the green ones. We continually meet with the Ministry of Economic Development, Employment Infrastructure, and Food, Ag, and Rural Affairs. You know about the Certified Sites program, and we're partnering with our residential developers to promote Minto and their developments. And right now that's through our job portal and promoting the portal outside of Minto. In terms of downtown relight, enforcing stronger rules and regulations for downtown property owners to maintain their buildings, updating our community improvement plan to include additional incentives and expanded boundaries, partnering with Wellington North and Mapleton on a Renew program, and continuing to support and grow Pitch It Business Plan competition, which just launched yesterday, for anyone paying attention. Business support promotion of Launch It. So we've done our created promotional video highlighting that. We are going through all kinds of networking opportunities, promoting things, especially at Wowza last week, promoting our business flight program and making sure people are aware of the resources out there through Guelph Wellington Enterprise Center and the Saugeen Economic Development Corporation. Great resources that a lot of people aren't aware of. Workforce development. Last October, we participated in the Waterloo Wellington Manufacturing Day. We're developing and promoting, well, we have developed and promoted a centralized portal for employers to post jobs, hosting an annual job, career, and housing, or job, career, and volunteer fair with Norwell, and last year we did the job fair. In terms of local food sector, continuing to work with Taste Real and those initiatives, supporting our farmers markets, and investigating how Savor the Flavors can become a more than a one-day event. In terms of youth engagement, we're continuing to work with Norwell District Secondary School and connecting with the students in the programs about Launch It and Summer Company. Later this month, we are meeting with 3 grades there, 2 grade 9-10 classes and a grade 12 class, to tell them about Summer Company and Launch It, and participating and engaging in the North Wellington Coalition for Youth Resiliency. Last, communication is continuing to host the Mayor's Breakfast Series, so you should have marked in your calendar April 10th, 17th, and 24th. We've partnered with the Chamber on doing our free business breakfast to communicate what's going on in the community in terms of business and revitalization, and continuing to produce our communication booklet and our corporate call program. So we wanted to thank the County of Wellington and the $25,000 we received through their implementation fund that assisted us in 2014 with Launch It operations and the promotion video, as well as the creation of our alumni attraction program, which is rolling out in May of 2015. And then if anybody has any questions.
Questions, Council? Councillor Elliott?
I just wonder if you could, you were talking about education and working with Norwell Secondary School. Maybe should we get a chance to promote what's happening this spring with bringing people back to the community to see if they can stay here.
Yep, so it's really perfect timing for the launch of this alumni attraction program, as it is Norwell's 75th reunion, May 8th to 10th. So there's a wide variety of activities planned. For the Friday night we're doing a special Savor the Flavors event. On Saturday, we're doing bus tours around Minto, taking them to really cool and unique businesses and public locations, showcasing that, also showcasing food and beverage in our area. On that bus tour, there's entertainment tents in the Lions Park featuring local music. What else? The school has a whole bunch of things going on in terms of a play, breakfast. There's a dinner on the Saturday night and live entertainment that night. Sunday, there's a wine and cheese. So our plan is to launch our alumni attraction campaign there. We're working on the website right now, the postcards featuring 2 alumni that went away to school, came back, and have opened businesses are featured on 2 postcards that people in the community can send away to their friends and family and hopefully bring them back. We're working on developing care packages that you can send away to your loved one to lure them back to come and live and work in Minto or start a business here. We have a pull-up banner, tying into the job portal as well, so they know what kind of housing is available here. So that's all launching. We're going to have a presence at the Norwell reunion, so all those people can see that. And Norwell's been really great to work with. They're reaching out on Facebook to past alumni, to bringing them back, so we already have a database of people that we can reach out to. So yeah, it's just perfect timing, really. And this is something that nobody else is doing right now. Gravenhurst is working on a program that should be launching around the same time as us. So I think there's great potential to put this program forward for EDCO and EDAC marketing awards. So stay tuned for that.
Anybody else? Linda, thank you very much for a really detailed report, and economic development, I think, is in good hands. So we'll look forward to increased involvement, especially with our absentee landlords. Maybe we can have a brainstorming or something to come up with a strategy. I know that's very frustrating for you.
You'll bring the absentee landlords back to Palmerston, Harrison, and Minto.
That's right. Maybe have a reunion for those guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Just a motion to receive that report. Councillor Turton, Councillor Colwell, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Declare the motion carried.
I'm next,
Okay,
Mr. Deputy
you
Mayor.
are.
I had mentioned at the end of the last council meeting that I would be bringing forward a report to name the street in new street in our industrial park in Palmerston. The name that I had suggested came from local historian Chad Martin, who recommended that the street be named after Arthur Leith Ross. There's information in your report about his background. We went a little bit more detailed into the policy, and we noticed that currently it only allows for names to come forward of veterans of World War I, World War II, or the Korean conflict. So as part of our recommendation on the name, we're suggesting that we allow veterans from other conflicts at council's discretion. This gentleman was in the Boer War, which is before all of our time, but is you know, obviously service to his country, and he had been involved in engineering work in Nigeria as well, I believe, building railways and roads in remote parts of that. So he, apparently there is a plaque in the Palmerston Library. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that or not, but so the name that we are recommending is Arthur Ross, and it would be Arthur Ross Court or just Ross Court. It really is up to council to give direction on whether you want the full name. One of the things we want to do is we have a number of these names now going into our streets. We'd like to link that with our website and maybe tell their story too, perhaps in the Treasures of Minto or some other location, so that if you look at Arthur Ross Street, you can find out his story, or Milton Seiler Crescent, or Tuppy McDougall Drive, or whatever. So we would be doing that as part of our normal work as well, but that came up through the staff in considering this report. So our recommendation is that you name the street Arthur Ross Court for that cul-de-sac in the industrial park west of Minto Road. It's very important we get a name on it. Businesses are starting to move in there now, and they are requiring a name and address. So in fact, I think Belinda has an offer on some more land that will be coming back to council next meeting. So
Okay, thoughts from council on this? One of the items that was brought up at the department head meeting this morning, and that is the complexity of a name in respect to misspelling, finding it on GPS and that type of thing. It seems to have become an issue. Like we've had McDougall spelled about 3 different ways, so I just want you to give some thought on whether to keep it simplistic at Ross, or A.L. Ross, or Art Ross, those types of things. And I agree that it's imperative that we get this done expediently, but we also want to do it right when we're doing it the first time. Councillor Anderson.
If I could just comment, I think if it's commemorating a certain individual that's calling it Ross Court, leave it wide open. If you actually do either his initials. If you do initials, then if you're looking to search it, is it A period, L period?
Exactly.
Arthur Ross Court. It's pretty simple, because when you're Googling things, if you go AL, so that's just my thoughts on the matter. The person should be identified specifically.
Thank you. That's excellent. Councillor Turton.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I agree. I mean, I think this is a very good report. It really hits home. It really supports the basis, and I agree with Councillor Anderson that I agree with what exactly is written here, Arthur Ross Court. It's very distinct.
Okay, Councillor Caldwell?
I agree as well, that the first and last name should be used. I also, so this wouldn't continue to happen, I know there was some issues working with the Palmerston Legion in regards to getting names. Maybe is it something that we could do in advance, that we ask them for maybe 2 or 3, and the same with the Harrison Legion, that we have them on file, and then that would be the next names that would be used, so we wouldn't have to go through this at the time and give the Legions plenty of time to do their homework?
As long as we protect that the list is complete when we do get it. I don't want to see anybody left out because we can only refer to a list. They might have forgotten somebody. That's my only concern on that. CO White?
Well, it's a good point. I think when council first put this policy in place, we did get a list, but it had 35 names on it.
Okay.
So, of all of them. And then, as we looked at it, if you note in the report, 3 of the ones that Chad picked up aren't even on the list that were provided. So, and I'm not sure why that's the case, whether it pertains to Legion membership or not, I don't know. But, of course, we only had names of veterans from World War I, II, and the Korean conflict, so we didn't have, but then there's a few others that weren't on the list for whatever reason. So we did try and reach the Legion, and we have for several months, and the other thing is we name so few streets, like it's 1 or 2 every few years. It would be nice if the Legions wanted to send us a priority list from their perspective, and we can try that. It just may be another 5 years before we name a street, that's all. So, but we'll see. We'll take that under advisement. And I'm not sure what's going on at the Palmerston Legion right now, but it'd be, we want to keep the lines of communication open with them.
Okay, any other comments? Councillor Elliott?
Yes, my thoughts are that Ross Court would be just fine. I believe if anybody's going to research the name of the reason why the street is there, Arthur Ross or R.J. Ross or whatever it's going to be, it's not going to make any difference. If they want to find out why the street was named Arthur Ross or what it was named for, it doesn't serve any purpose, and I think it's a lot better for our community, a lot better for people looking in your community what street they want to find when they can punch up Ross Street. I just think it's more efficient.
And if my information is correct, the explanation or the background of that would be on our website? Mm-hmm. Correct? Sorry.
I'm sorry, I just disagree, only because of the purpose of naming these streets after veterans. That Ross Street sounds like King Street or, Allen Street or Alora Street.
Did you search
whereas
Allen?
Arthur Ross, with the full name, there's a meaning to it, and people would look for that meaning, where they wouldn't necessarily just with Ross Street.
Thank you. Councillor Turton?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Faulkner. I think, in a 2-word or a 3-word name, Milton Siler Street, that's just vocabulary from Palmerston, and people accept it, and away we go. Tuffy McDougall, it's just another name of the street, and it's extremely important. But as soon as people get used to it, and I think we need to remember why we're doing what we're doing.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Anderson?
I agree with you. Having been to the carefully, and I think it's doing the memorial, then you Ross Street simply.
Councillor Elliott?
So Allen Street is named for what reason?
This would differentiate
What if
it
it
from
was
Allen Street.
Steve Allen Street?
Right.
You would know better?
I feel that way.
Okay, the recommendation, and I will then ask for a motion on that. The council receives the CAO clerk's report dated February 25th, 2015 regarding Palmerston Industrial Park street naming and approves the name Arthur Ross Court for the cul-de-sac west of Minto Road, and that the policy be amended to allow for names of veterans from other conflicts at council's discretion. Would somebody like to make that motion? Yes.
I have a comment, if you don't mind. I personally think that we need to go back to the Legion one more time, and I know that we went to them a number of times, but there's still people out there, I can hear it now, people saying, well, you know, the town just went ahead and named it on their own, no issues, not knowing that all the dialogue beforehand has happened. So I think that we should try one more time with the Legion, let them know this is what we're doing before we go ahead. Because I can hear it now.
You all right?
We haven't done a bylaw, so
Yeah.
we can do that one more time and bring the bylaw back next meeting if you're inclined to approve that recommendation, or if you're all right with that. Didn't get moved or seconded yet.
Nobody's moved this motion yet.
We're going to move the motion. We have tried several times with the Legion. I agree with Councillor Turton that I think an email to the Palmerston Legion notifying them that there will be a bylaw at the next
So
meeting
please.
stating this would be in order, but I think we should,
Go ahead
I'm
and name
recommending,
this.
I'm making the motion that we accept this recommendation.
Okay,
as
moved
is.
by Councillor Caldwell, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that the street be named Arthur Ross Court for the cul-de-sac west of Minto Road.
If you like, we can add, and a notice be sent to the Legion that the bylaw will be at the next meeting.
Okay?
And that would help.
I like that. That's good, Dave.
Yep.
Councillor Turton. Could I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor, oh, sorry, I already had Councillor Elliott. Sorry, we got a double seconded. All in favor? Opposed, if any? I declare the motion carried unanimously. Okay.
Shouldn't be a White's
Bill White's Road.
There's already a long road named after
Be
you.
third in.
I can claim it now.
Yeah.
Terry White's Road.
CIO White, you're still on the hook for out-of-town RV use.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Last meeting, council received a letter from, I believe it was Mr. and Mrs. Barb and Gary Doms, who live in Atwood. And they're regular users of our sewage dumping station in Harrison. They're also regular visitors to our downtown, and as are some of their friends who are involved in RV use. Council, I think, at the meeting felt like their letter was compelling and asked that we bring back a report looking at options. There's a little bit of information in the report about what the last council did when establishing the $20 deposit for Minto residents only, and that has seemed to work quite well, and we haven't had any reported problems going with that process. Of course, those are our ratepayers, and although sewage and water are supposedly separate from our tax rate, in developing this system, we thought it was important to maybe include some payment toward the sewage use that would come from out-of-town persons. So the process we're recommending is a $20 deposit and $80 that would be used, that would go towards sewage use, and that total of $100 would be good for 5 years, and essentially that balance would go into the sewage system to support our sewage work, to support the use that this small amount of sewage would put to our facilities. I have not run that idea by the DOMs. I hadn't been in touch with them, but I thought I'd bring it forward through you to have some discussion. It has been discussed at the department head level, and generally thought it was a rather simple way of doing it. The reason for the distance limit of 50 kilometers is it's just some sort of distance that it's not far if you needed to speak to the person about their use of the facility if there was ever a problem or something like that. Also, it gets rid of the people just coming through, passing through every once in a while and not being able to track them and that kind of thing. So, but there's no magic to 50 kilometers. It could be 100, it could be 30. I think you probably want to make it enough to include the DOMs if you're inclined to approve this, because they were the ones that brought the idea forward. So our recommendation is the $20 deposit for people who live within 50 kilometers and $80 for up to 5 years of use.
Councillor Colwell?
I can't find the sentence right now, but one thing that surprised me when I was reading the report is that they were saying that the people are given the opportunity to dump at the site that they are leaving for a fee and have chosen not to. So I guess that's I agree that we should be charging out of town an additional fee because they do have that option of dumping at the site they're coming from. Where, as our own residents, it makes more sense.
And being a non-camper, not all sites offer that, though, I don't think, but I could be wrong.
When we looked into it, there were not a lot of locations where you could just stop and do this for free. Many of them are moving to fees, and some of them had been shut down in places where you think they ought to be able to do it. So,
but if you were at an RV park at one of the beaches or something, would you have the ability to dump before you left the RV park?
Normally, I'm told yes, but not always.
Right.
Okay.
A question I have, if I could ask perhaps Brian or Terry, do we have many requests from people going through to use our facility? Okay. No, I know we used to have, when they could just pull up and dump, but, yeah. Councillor Anderson?
I was just going to explain.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Faulkner. I think when you go into a trailer park, you pay for that, you pay extra for a septic hookup. I mean, I think, I like this. Last year, our citizens told us that they weren't happy with what was happening down there. We took a stand and we made a decision, and we put a proposal forward. Now, the flexibility in this council, in this town, we're changing it a little bit to accommodate a request. And I mean, I think that's really good. And I'm in favor of what our CAO is putting forth here.
Councillor Anderson?
Can I just clarify, I know we read a report on last time, so did we close it down completely before?
If I may, through the Deputy Mayor, our first inclination was close it down to any public use. We got into implementing that. The public got out in the public, and we had quite a number of calls. So as we were doing that, we adjusted it to just in-town residents. Locks who could use it only, and we bought a lock and these special non-reproducible keys, and they're all paying the $20.
Councillor Elliott?
The question was, are we going to have keys that can be reproduced?
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, recommendation that the Council of the Town of Minto receive the CAO clerk's report regarding out-of-town RV use of the sewage disposal station, and that council permit usage by residents of Minto who pay a $20 key deposit, and residents of areas within 50 kilometers of Hairston who pay a $20 key deposit and $80 for up to 5 years of use. Would somebody like to move that? Councillor Turton, Councillor Anderson, all in favor? Opposed, if any? I declare the motion carried. And turn it over to Councillor Caldwell to assume the chair for the treasurer.
And we have 3 items on the treasurer's agenda this afternoon, and 2 of them are very, very good news. Yeah. And I will turn it over to Treasurer Duff to talk about the Ontario Community Investment Program.
Great. Thank you, Chair Caldwell. As you say, this is a good news announcement. The first is the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, and this is the application, so the competitive component of it. If you may recall, there was a formula based in the application, and we had a September 19th, 14 deadline, and council and staff decided to put forward the Bride Road Bridge project, which is in the very southeast corner of Minto, and it's a bridge that's in very rough condition, and we were invited to proceed to the application stage after a review of our expression of interest, and we just received word that your application was accepted, and we asked for approximately 70% of the cost, and that's what we received, $454,000. So we have included that in our capital budget. And there's a bylaw coming up later to sign the agreement. The agreement must be returned by March 13th. And so we're all happy about that one.
And just in case nobody knows where Bride Road is, it's up by Bob Reed's. So up the second and third, yep. So if you were coming from Bram Hills Corner, you would turn left at the first road and go up there right almost to the border of Minto and Howick.
Right.
So,
Okay, are there any questions or comments from council? No? Then the recommendation is that the council of the town of Minto authorize the mayor and CAO clerk, or should this be deputy mayor?
Yes.
Authorize the deputy mayor and CAO clerk to sign an agreement with the province of Ontario regarding the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund application component capital program for the Bride Road Bridge project. You have someone, I'm sorry?
I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
The wrinkle is it came pre-printed with the mayor's name on it.
Okay.
So we're gonna allow the deputy mayor to sign the bylaw, which will authorize the mayor to sign it, because he'll be back Friday and we'll have enough time to get it
Okay.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Keep it simple.
in. Yeah.
Can I have someone make that motion, please? Councillor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Turton. All in favor? And the motion is passed. And the second good news story is about our ice storm assistance program.
Yeah, so, okay, this is still an ongoing saga, but where we are here, and I'm sure everyone's read the Wellington Advertiser, there's certain applications that are still under review, and we did talk a bit about that at the last meeting, and ours is one of them. So we put in for about $80,000. They have decided to process an interim payment of 35% of that, and that's the $28,173. So again, there's a granting agreement, again to be approved by bylaw here. And once we approve that agreement, I believe they're going to forward the $28,000 to us. Again, I've got the third request for more information, so we've responded to the first two. We have the next one. At this point, I can't say if we're going to get more, less, or whatever, but this will allow us to go forward at least with the $28,000, and I'm going to reflect that in the 2014 financial statements. And this still keeps us in the running for anything additional, so.
So the bottom line is that we have the possibility of receiving between 28 and 80.
Yes.
But 28 is guaranteed.
No. Worst case scenario, they could say, I don't like any of it, and ask for the 28 back. I don't think
really?
that's very likely, because every time we get a request for information, it's a smaller request. So as far as I know, they're happy with parts of what we've sent in. So I don't think that's likely, but they do say right in the agreement that upon their review, if they're not satisfied, they can request some of this back. So I think your odds are good, but no, they're not guaranteed.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Did they say they're gonna give us more?
Probably.
They say they might. Up to 80, but this is 35% of the request.
Just to start.
Yeah.
Half full.
That's right.
Are there any additional questions? Okay, then the recommendation is that council of the town of Minto receives the treasurer's report dated February 26, 2015, or March 3rd, 2015, regarding the provincial ice storm assistance program grant agreement, and that council consider passing the related bylaw.
Is that date correct?
Is that correct?
It says, on the
February
recommendation, it says February 26th.
Well, that's the date of the
Okay.
report,
Okay,
and then we're passing
okay,
it today.
I'll make
So
that
I
one.
think that's fine.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Councillor Anderson. All in favor? And the motion is passed. And the third item on our agenda is the approval of accounts.
Okay, so some of our highlights of this particular run are we paid our annual maintenance for our Keystone or USD software, and that's about $11,000. We put some repairs into our fire aerial truck of about $11,000 as well. Just for interest, it cost to do one snow removal, $6,113, and I know council was considering an upgrade of the level of service, and that tells you how much it is each time. And we've got likely our final progress payment before holdback on the Harrison Force main, upgrading that system, and that's the ongoing Building Canada Fund, and it's winding down, and hopefully we'll be able to put in another claim for that. That was $47,000. And we did some more repairs at the Palmerston well of just under $10,000. So hopefully we've got the redundancy there that we need too.
Is that number 3?
Yes, number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the highlights.
Okay.
Anyway.
Just a silly question, but where you list Clifford, Harrison, and Palmerston. Clifford and Harrison are exactly the same dollars. Is that just a coincidence, or?
I think that's the water, so that they prorate some of it. And,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a calculated figure. I guess it happened to be the same.
Yes, Councillor Anderson.
I have a question too, and I don't know if it's somebody wanted up in Oregon Theater. I know it's $2,000 report for this time before, and I wondered if
Usually at the end of the year, there's some catch up on the booking fee. We use Katie Lyons and that, and he invoices periodically, and at the end of the year, he kind of tidies that up too. And also we've got all the maybe accumulated Union Gas and Hydro that they do the online payments. So, yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, the recommendation is the Council of the Town of Minto receive the Treasurer's Report dated February 20th, 2015 regarding approval of accounts and approves the Town of Minto accounts by department for February 2015. Councillor Elliott and Councillor Turton. All in favor? And the motion is passed. Thank you very much, Treasurer Duff. And thank you for all your work on our 2 grants that we received in this.
Good job.
Oh, when I turn the chair back to Deputy Mayor Faulkner. I'm sorry, I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. Okay, next item on our agenda, other business disclosed as an additional item. Councillor Turton, you.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Mayor Faulkner. I've got a couple, maybe 3. First thing I'd like to say is the March 10th. Belinda, have we talked about that? That's March 10th at 6:30 p.m. in the basement of the library. It has to do with the we are tearing up the main street in 2015. Okay, so we have
Called now?
we're looking for a name, something to call it. We don't want to call it the Big Dig because it's not a big dig. So
Down.
okay. But they were all good. So write that on your calendar. That's next Tuesday night at 6:30 at the.
Oh, 6:30. I have 7.
Okay.
At the library?
Yes, sir. So there'll be a lot of questions answered. Second thing is there was an AGM meeting for the Maitland Valley, and we have a new president. It's Art Versteeg. Our vice is Jim Campbell, and our second vice is Deb Schufelt. Third thing, if I may, it has to do with the cold weather that we've been having. Up to last night, we've had 27 frozen lines bypassed. I'm sure there's a lot more frozen, but up to last night, 27 bypass lines. And I know our Director Brian has put out a bulletin to ask people to leave their water running, and because I'm sure there's lines that are frozen that we haven't been told about yet. It's going to take quite a while to get these things thawed out. We think the frost is down possibly to 6 feet. So What we're asking for is to, about the size of a pencil. That's how much water we want to run. I mean, when we're talking minus 35 degrees and the frost being down 6 feet, it's really hard on our systems. Everybody knows that we're not unique. There's all kinds of municipalities having the same problem. So it's much easier, much more feasible, much more economical to let the water run. We have capacity to handle it. So I was hoping that we could get that out there, and I know that we've worked hard at trying to get it out there. We've made calls, we've sent emails to people that had problems last year, and we've, you know, pointed it out to them that this is as cold or colder than last year, and we need their help. So
Can I just ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
My husband and I were actually discussing this last night. If the temperature is warmer, we don't run the water, or do we run the water?
Perhaps, Brian, you should come up to the mic, because I think that's an excellent question, and the answer is most important.
Okay. The way it works is when the temperature goes lower and then it comes and rises back up again, it changes the temperatures in the ground, and then it starts to thaw, and then you get a heavy temperature like minus 21 to minus 30, and it pushes it farther in the ground. So that's what's been occurring over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and that's why everybody's freezing up all their services. Usually the ones that hit first are under pavement, and the other ones are insulated more. So if it run on like through your front yard or whatever the case may be, it's insulated,
So we should leave it running until further notice?
Yeah, everybody in all 3 towns should run their water.
Until further notice. The town will let us know.
Until further notice, yeah.
So Brian, there was an initiative, sorry.
No, please continue, it's important.
We talked about it in the older parts of town, buildings, houses, sections.
The older homes, yeah, but now we're getting freeze-ups in the newer sections. Okay. Minto Pines, for example, the end of
Margaret
Street
yeah.
is starting to freeze up there. Lower Street, just past the meat packer's place, it's freezing up there. Problem with that, we have nowhere to connect her. So what we did there was shut our system down, hooked her up to a well system next door to her place. It's the only way we get water over to her. So if we run it, people are running and then they shut them off. Sometimes it's automatic, but it'll freeze up definitely, for sure. And that's what they're finding out now. Ambulance Bay, we just found out during council here that it's frozen again, and it's on a temporary service. So, and we're right, we're not the only ones that are having problems. It's all across Ontario.
Good advice, important. Councillor Elliott.
If you got one tap running in your house, is it good enough, or
Yep.
should be?
One
Doesn't
tap.
matter whereabouts or whether it's downstairs or upstairs.
Doesn't matter, as long as you have the movement, it keeps our water mains moving, and it just doesn't freeze when water moves.
So in our clubhouse, we've got, we've got that tap running one end, the washer is at the wall, we've got a tap running at the other end where the kitchen is, so we don't, one of those to run.
Just one. Yep, they're all on the same system, right? So as long as you have one, like a size of a pencil dripping down, then.
So it's outside where the freezing's happening, not inside?
In most cases, yeah. Some cases, people have run their water lines for when I don't know why, but under a back porch and it's not insulated or anything. They're getting freeze ups, and they definitely will. But most of them are down the driveways because it's clear, there's no snow to insulate it, right? It's just like a road that the frost keeps on pounding down further and further. So, and if media could help us out there and put it out again, that would be much appreciated.
Okay, Councillor Anderson.
What are we doing to provide water to people that are I hear about hose. I'm as long as people go.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's Well,
would've thought they'd have
in
gone-
most cases,
Oh, okay.
in some cases not.
Okay.
We've had a couple that have froze back up again. We can't prove why they do that, but we have our, you know, if people shut them down or turn them down.
It's automatic, like it's an organ, I kept catching myself this weekend, I kept wanting to shut that tap off.
Well, it's an automatic thing to
It
do,
is.
is to shut your water off, right? So people just gotta put it maybe down in the basement, run a tap downstairs,
You
and
can't see it.
that's right. Out of sight, out of mind.
I must have shut the thing off and turned it back on a dozen times while I
Yeah.
was there.
Our clubhouse was off every day, and I checked every day, and finally we put signs up, and it's still.
Yeah.
Automatic- It's an automatic thing.
Every night or every early morning, we get 2 or 3 more calls.
I'll bet.
So it's
Yeah.
just a constant. The guys have been doing really good trying to keep up with it.
Kudos, because it can't be pleasant work out there.
It isn't,
No,
it isn't.
I feel for it.
Councillor Turton?
Yes, so Brian, I know that it's taken up a lot of time,
Yes, it is.
and I know your guys are out there working hard at it, and so let them know that we as council and citizens appreciate it. So send that back to them.
I will
The other
pass it.
thing, what kind of an effect is it having on our waste treatment plants, all the water that's running? Is
Not
it,
too bad now. Not too bad at all, so.
Good.
Hopefully, we're keeping an eye on that too, so. We've had a freeze up at our Palmerston sewage treatment plant, so unthawing it, and the bugs are not working the way they should, so we added a lot of warm water to it to see if we can get them back going again, so we'll see how that works.
Okay,
Surface water.
Yeah.
pretty good. Anybody, did you have something, Councillor Caldwell? Okay, CEO White, you have a couple things.
Sorry, Mr. Deputy Mayor, I should have mentioned these. The first one is that we have a budget meeting next Tuesday, March 10th at 1:30 PM here in the council chambers. So I'm not sure, maybe we'll speak to you by email whether you would like to have dinner after that meeting, and then if you're heading to the Harrison downtown meeting, then you could do that, but we'll speak to you about that. Your binder additions on the capital budget, which is primarily what we're talking about, will be sent out to you on Friday. And the second item is Councillor Elliott, Councillor Colwell, along with Mayor Bridge and Councillor Dirksen were at the Ogra Roma conference last week in Toronto. I wanted to report on their behalf that we did meet with the Associate Minister of Health regarding the Crescent Care situation. It was an okay meeting. I think we finally got our message across as to what our concerns were, that we want to, if there is a bed reduction, that we want to know that the improvements to care that were promised there would be continuing. And also they were going to reconcile some of the concerns brought forward by members of the public, as well as the CEO for North Wellington Healthcare, so that those concerns were also addressed. And they did say that this matter was still in play with the minister, and a decision had not been made. Not sure if that accurately reflects our meeting, but that's what I gathered out of it. The second meeting was with the Minister of Municipal Affairs. We spoke to Mr. McMeekin about the importance of streamlining and eliminating overlap and reducing reporting, and I feel like they're on board for that. They have made some changes to some of the financial reporting things lately, and they did promise that there would be more to come. Our mayor offered to sit on any kind of group that maybe would get together to talk about ways of improving that, and they, I think, appreciated that. There is some work going on with AMO, the Association of Municipalities, on that as well. So I feel it was worthwhile to have those two delegations. I guess it would have been a week ago today, along with the other information that many of us got at the conference. So we'll be reporting back again before the AMO board so that you have an opportunity to seek out those delegations again. That's all I had.
Thank you, CAO White. Anybody else? Okay, then I have a motion.
So just ask if there is.
Okay, we don't do that first? Motion to return to the...
Yes, we do.
Oh.
Got me that.
Motion by Councillor Turton, seconded by Councillor Colwell, that the Committee of the Whole convenes into regular council meeting. All in favor? Declare the motion carried.
Faulkner instead of their full name.
You're hard meeting.
Okay.
Well, now it's notices.
Yeah, now, any notices of motion? Okay. Resolution adopting procedure. Motion by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott, that the Council of the Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the Committee of the Whole. All in favor? Opposed? Declare the motion carried. Motion by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Turton, that bylaw 2015-19, authorizing the mayor and CEO clerk to sign a funding agreement, Ontario Community Investment Fund, with Her Majesty the Queen in Right of Ontario regarding the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund. Application component. Be introduced and be read a first, second, third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Opposed? Declare the motion carried. Motion by Councillor Caldwell, seconded by Councillor Anderson, that bylaw 2015-20 to adopt terms of reference for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee and to repeal bylaw number 07-06 under the Community Recreation Center Act and repeal bylaw 2015-14 be introduced and read a first, second, third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Declare the motion carried. Motion by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Turton, that bylaw 2015-21 being a bylaw to exempt part lot control for lots 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the registered plan 61R 20499 in the former village of Clifford, now in the town of Minto, be introduced and read a first, second, third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Declare that motion carried. Motion by Councillor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Caldwell, that bylaw 2015-22 to authorize execution of an agreement with Her Majesty the Queen in Right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, be introduced and read first, second, third time, and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Declare the motion carried. Moved by Councillor Turton, second by Councillor Elliott, that bylaw 2015-23 to confirm the proceedings of the March 3rd, 2015 committee council meeting be introduced, read first, second, third time, and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor? Declare that motion carried. Before I read this last motion, I want to thank everybody for putting up with my greenhorn method of running a council meeting. Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Turton, that the Council of the Town of Minto adjourn to meet again at the call of the Mayor. All in favor? I declare that motion carried.
Finished it in time. Could go a lot longer. Good.
Good job.